Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Bronze Soldier. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, anything like that. Okay, so Soldier. Got a Reinhardt and Orisa. Mercy Hanzo. Okay. Thank you, Adam. Oh, you've changed your icon there. Your YouTube icon. So, you can shoot from here. That's not the end of the world. You ultimately have a decision to make. So, do I want to get into this? I don't actually love swapping down here for the D.Va. It's true that you have less fall off to worry about, so it's like, oh yeah, I can do more damage to the D.Va. But if you shoot the Soldier, this is actually pretty good. When you shot the Soldier, you'll notice he leaves and he walks into spawn to go get healed, and he has to go do that, and he stops shooting when you shoot at him to go do that. Like, he's back here and he's not shooting while he's there. That creates windows for you to do damage to D.Va, for you to do damage to Ana, who's a better target than D.Va. So, like, even though we do less damage to him, if we can make him leave, that decreases our risk of getting eliminated, that decreases the total pressure from the enemy team. We like that. Even though he's a harder target, you were able to make him run away, and you'd like to shoot at D.Va for a second while he's gone, and then potentially go back to shooting at him. Or even better, you could shoot at him and then shoot at Ana. Or just shoot at Ana. Any of those would really be better than shooting at the D.Va. Yes, I see D.Va's down to half health. Yes, I see D.Va's closer. She's a bigger target. She's easier to hit. You do actually get more value by either making him leave or putting pressure on Ana so that she leaves, very similar to making Soldier leave. And if she leaves, she stops healing D.Va for a minute. And that, not a minute, but for a few seconds. And that makes your damage then on D.Va much more permanent, much better. Looking like a second place finisher 2 years in a row. Love those finishes. Who needs first? That's for winners, and we both know that's not your style. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. It was, if you had a compliment there and didn't follow it up with that, we'd have been worried. Good swap to Ana. Pressure on Winston. Sure, this is fine. You don't need to chase her that hard, but okay. Don't go challenge this again. So, like, this is fine, other than missing the rocket. And this is good. The opponents can't really see you, but you have someone you can shoot at. That's kind of what you're looking for. Their backline can't see you, can't really interact with you. Junkrat's trying. The only person you're really worried about is the person that you can see. You try to keep these guys in a place where they can't impact you. You have cover against them. We like that. I like this less. I like it a little more if you understand that Junkrat's about to pop up here. And I'm probably not going to drop my heal station and just try to fight him close range. Because once I've dropped my heal station, I've committed this to being where I'm fighting, and I simply don't want to fight the Junkrat at close range. I want to create more distance. I want to use sprint and run away, because this is a much better range for him than it is for me. His power gets way, way worse as you create some distance between you and him. Yeah. So sprint, not heal station. Sprint, not fighting him were really the answers.
I'm not a young man anymore.
Things don't look very good for the 76, but can he do better than 1 in 7 with his visors? That's why the other coach said not to play 76 before GM. He didn't say that. 76 wasn't on his list, I don't think. Don't fight Junkrat in his face. It's true. Okay. Not worried about that. Go take your high ground. So it's unlikely that you're going to hold them this close anymore. You probably actually want to use this sprint time to go get yourself up here and be ready to hold from here. If your Reinhardt was going to like set up to try to hold here, maybe you'd hold up here. If they were still back here and going to be back here, sure, this would be good. But now you're sort of in like a, I'm going to shoot you down here, I'm going to shoot you down here on the approach, which you can get a little value out of, but probably not enough to actually soften them up to the degree that your team is ready to fight theirs, that you're going to be like, ah, yes, we win, etc. And if that's the case, you probably want to go, hey, I would instead be better off here so I don't have to rotate. Like if you soften them up but not enough, that's not really good, because then you're going to have to rotate through the open and they'll recover as you're rotating through the open and potentially pick you off. If you just spend this time setting up here because you recognize the situation that this is too far forward of a hold, you can go, okay, now we'll have all this time while they're in the open without good cover to take them apart. That's going to be preferable. Temporally spared you in that debate. If I was there, that coach would have destroyed you. Yeah, I wondered. I noticed that we didn't have you in the peanut gallery there, throwing rocks and tomatoes at me and the like. Haircut looking good. Thanks, Sheldon. He would have tasted the spoils of victory. I don't know, man. The arguments just weren't top tier. While you walled in the despair of defeat. I don't know what that looks like. Something you're familiar with. Yeah, I don't know what that looks like. Blue team had an Orisa, so they should win if she sticks on high ground and plays as not tank. So wrong, so wrong. What Blob's referring to is a review that we did of your Overwatch's Orisa 2.0 guide. You can find that in the channel. If you do a search for Orisa, we put that out in the last few days earlier this week, so do feel free to take a look at that. I'll try and go link it in the description after this one is over. But it was a fun one. And no, it was not good. Well, I suppose what he's actually referring to is the tier guide that they did the next day that I haven't reviewed, but it features Soldier as a top tier pick, apparently. I don't actually know what SR and Bronze this is. Like, this could be 1200, this could be 400, right? We don't really get to know. And the Bronze is a pretty big rank for that in terms of the movement. Temporal won't name a price to review it. I mean, I'm not going to review it tonight, no, but I don't mind reviewing it.
Age before beauty. Guess you're coming in third.
Yeah, don't assume that someone can't break aim because they're in Bronze. That's true. Some people can aim just fine. But they stand on top of Winstons while Winstons are zapping them, rather than sprinting for like half a second and being out of range of that Winston and having that Winston be helpless. That's why some people are in Bronze. Hint, that's what you're supposed to do here, Mad Blur. You're supposed to go, oh, I don't like this. And when a Winston jumps on you, you just run away a tiny bit, put a little bit of damage on him to make him drop his bubble, like he's already done in this case, so it's even easier. And then you can break his bubble very quickly and start shooting at him. He can't keep up with you even remotely, and it goes so poorly for him. Hey, Carolina. Oh no, did we just run into Attack Visor?
Surrender to my will.
Break it. Go high ground, go high ground, go high ground. Go high ground, go high ground, go high ground, go high ground. Go high ground, go high ground, go high ground, go high ground. Oh look, there's an Ana. Do you want to try and take down the D.Va through heals? Or do you want to come up here and be like, hey, I'm going to even put 50 damage into Ana, 60 damage into Ana, and she's going to go, I don't like that, and nade herself rather than nade this fight. Or she's going to go, I don't like that, and run towards the health pack. And when she runs towards the health pack, she's not relevant to the fight for a good 2-3 seconds, and you finish breaking the D.Va. Like, this is how you win fights. You take your angles. Oh, now we have high ground. Good, good. But we didn't have to break the D.Va before we took the high ground. Okay. Good. Why are we heal stationing? You're at full health. You're at full health. If you think this is a good spot, is this also a good spot? If you stand in this spot, you have a barrier, so you're even less likely to heal station. You're at full health. We have a super chat coming in from Adam for $5 saying, whenever you talk, I ask myself, what would legit RC, you said RD, but what would legit RD, what would legit RC do? And if it's the opposite of what you say, I laugh at your terrible advice, he beat you. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for that $5 super chat saying, whenever you talk, I ask myself, what would WWLRD, what would legit RC do? And if it's the opposite of what you say, I laugh at the terrible advice he beat you. Thank you, Adam, for the $5 super chat. I do appreciate that one. Almost as much as this soldier appreciates this barrier. No, this soldier does not appreciate this barrier. I appreciate the barrier more than that. Soldier, don't drop your heal station here. No one's hurting you. No one's shooting at you. You're committing to this position. It's a really long cooldown. It's 15 seconds, and the healing station will only last 7 or 8 of those in this spot. And basically, you're committing that for the next 7 or 8 seconds, this is where you want to play from. I don't know that that's true. And even if it is true, play here instead. And then you don't need the heal station because you have the barrier. Temporal can't even talk. Thank you, Adam. He's stuttering. That's not quite stuttering, but sure, close enough. But it's okay, because they made a tweet saying Temporal's team was really good. Ha! There you go, Adam. But you're calling out stuttering to try and pull away from the fact that you couldn't even get WWLRC right there. You got the typo, the stuttering, the typo. I don't know, man. I don't know. And afterwards, they say, psych, kick rocks nerd, we won. Hey, Fails.
Get over here and heal up.
Get into position.
What would legit RC do? No, it's because legit RC is 2 words, not 3. I mean, sort of. It's really run together. It's a gamer tag, so it's really run together as one word. It would be WWLD, because legit RC would be one word. If you're going to do the R, you sort of want to do the C at that point. Yeah. The R's here together? I don't think so. So why did you jump off? Oh, just Orisa things. As an OT, you need to stay on high ground and control the off angle. I've already noticed slight weight gain since law school started. Advice about balancing, take care of yourself, and staying on top of your work, please, Temporal. So the taking care of yourself pays more dividends than you think. You can do this thing where you go, hey, I'm going to go hard, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to do whatever, I'm going to put in 12-hour days, I'm going to do this, I'm going to work hard. You can do that, but if you try to do that in anything but short bursts, what ends up happening is you end up in this place. If you don't actively make the time to work out, you don't actively make the time to eat well, what's going to end up happening is you're going to find a decline. You might still do this 12-hour day, 2 months in, 3 months in, 4 months in, 6 months in, whatever. You might still do this 12-hour day, but this 12-hour day will be less efficient. You will be tired on hour 6 instead of hour 9 because you haven't been doing this. You will make up in efficiency the time that you've lost by consistently working out a couple days a week, doing some cardio, etc. But those are the things that they will make up in your efficiency. Now, if you spend okay, I'm going to do 45 minutes of cardio, and then you can do some travel and shower, so maybe it costs you an hour and a half total. Now, you have to figure out how to fit that in. Now, if you were working 12 hours, and if you absolutely had to do the 12 hours, and there will be crunches where that happens, sure, that's life, whatever, but you simply can't maintain a schedule where Again, I don't know if it's 12 for you, if it's 14 for you, if it's 10 for you, if it's 18 for you. It's going to be different for different people, but you can't maintain a schedule that doesn't have time to do this a couple times a week. You simply can't. You can drop this once or twice, like, oh shoot, massive project has to be done, we're at crunch time, whatever, but you can't extend and keep this out because you will find that after some amount of time you just don't have the efficiency. When you started doing your 12-hour day, your 14-hour day, whatever, you were in a place where you're coming off of having been recharged, rested, having eaten decently. Maybe you were at maybe you were back living, whatever. You had time to either make food, or maybe you were living with parents, or whatever the case was, where food was better. I don't know what your situation was, and where you had time to work out, you had time to go do stuff, you weren't mentally draining yourself. You will get efficiency gains back by doing this couple of times a week, so actually do it. Like, oh no, I need to study more. No, you'll get through the work faster. I'm not saying every single day you'll make up an hour and a half's time of work by breaking to go do your workout or whatever the case is, but you're overall going to make that up, because if you don't keep investing this, you're going to get not like worse and worse infinitely, but it's going to continue to downscale a bit more and get like, okay, these become pretty inefficient investments of time. Does your law school have a gym? Your apartment does? Nice. Blah says, oh, there's this thing you can do that's with the opposite gender that burns calories too. That's true. That's true. But I think I'm overdoing my readings. It burns you out. Like, I'll do readings twice over, take notes, type briefs, outline. It's up to you what you need to do. I've met people who do that, and that is their system. Going like, hey, they're going to read it, they're going to reread it, they're going to take notes on it, they're going to go from convert their notes into something else. I have not found that to be necessary. I can take a close read. It can be notes. Like, it depends how deep, how hard you need to go on something, but I have rarely found that to be necessary, but for some people it is. So, like, it is absolutely going to be a question of what level are you going to, for you personally, to make the stuff stick that you need to stick to get the insights out of it that you need to get out of it. And when it came to school, again, I've known people who absolutely had to do that, and it served them well. It got them 4.0s or whatever the GPA at the time was, since those are moving targets with what those, a 4.0 then versus a 4.0 then, etc. But not everyone. Everyone has a little bit of a different system there. But what I would say is do the exercise, do the eating right. Again, if you need to throw something out once because, like, hey, you can't fit the gym in today because big project due tomorrow, that's fine. But you have to actually reestablish or establish your habit of hitting the gym, etc., or do what Blah said. With the opposite gender, that can be fun. And doing this will help lead to the other activity. Okay. I'm still working out. My diet is just much worse since law school. Much more buying food and drinking. Eat better. Drink things other than alcohol. It's not as easy when I have much less time. That's a cop out. I don't know what your living situation. Like, I don't know what your living situation is, but you can brown bag it. You can bring food with you to school. That's not hard to do. It's very easy to prep food to bring with you to school. It's much cheaper than what you're doing, and it'll be better food for you if you do. And it'll be less food too. You'll eat less food because what you do when you brown bag it is going to be, it simply is, restaurants are still going, restaurants, takeout, whatever, are going to sell big portion sizes, because selling big portion sizes means they can charge you more. And they'd rather if they're going to get a 30% markup or a 50% markup or a 10% markup, whatever their markup percent is going to be, they would rather do it on a larger thing because they can justify charging more in the first place for the larger thing than the little thing. Even if it's the same percent markup, they make more money if they sell you the larger portion. So that's going to be a thing. So you can brown bag it. It does not take very long to brown bag it. It really doesn't. You can go, okay, what's your food going to be? Okay. And you can pick what food makes sense for you, what food makes sense for your diet. Maybe you're going to go, okay, you're going to go have a thing of assorted nuts, and you can throw some of those in a Ziploc bag. Maybe you're going to go, hey, you can get individual packs of yogurt and you're going to throw that in a thing. Maybe you're going to go, hey, throw a banana in your lunch there. Maybe you're going to go, okay, you chop up fruit and you throw it in Ziploc bags, whatever. Like, yes, at this point, I'm talking to you the same way that you'd like make a lunch, make lunch for a kid that you have that you're sending to school. You just do the same thing for yourself. It's really not that hard, and you try to do it with food that is relatively healthy. And some of you could get in here and say, no, some of those aren't the best foods, and there's more efficient foods, and there absolutely are. But anything that he's going to do over here is better than buying takeout. And you adjust this up as you get more into the health sciences, but health sciences are so messy. Our research is so bad in that. And again, if you're studying all the time, well, if you're studying at home all the time, it's very easy to go, okay, well, you have food and reasonable food. And it can be like, what's reasonable food? Okay, I don't know. Maybe you have reasonable food. We talked about, hey, you should have a bowl of fruit, on your kitchen counter. You could be like, okay, you've got some of those things that you'd use to make lunch. Maybe you've hard boiled a bunch of eggs and you've just got those sitting in a bowl in your fridge, etc. And you just crack one of those open and eat it if you get hungry. And you sort of do this small amounts of food grazing thing when you're there, and you only eat when you're actually hungry, and you do small amounts of food grazing. And okay, that's going to work pretty well. Yes, we are drifting from our soldier review. Don't worry, soldier, we will get back to your review. You say drinking is such a big part of law school, as crazy as that sounds. I mean, networking is part of it. More gym time needed, the more you drink, and you can never beat it. Like, the gym ultimately isn't going to be able to beat terrible eating habits. It's just not going to be able to win. It helps, but ultimately, you can't exercise your way out of exercising is good, and people should be doing exercising, but you can get to points where if you're eating too much or eating too terribly, you're not. There simply aren't the hours in the day. There isn't the energy in your body to out exercise it. You either have the metabolism for it or you don't. Temporal just explained why I refused to commute to an office. I did that in Portland for 2 years. Long days plus commute cooked my central nervous system. To send next review, is it better to wait when I feel like I've made improvement or just weekly check? So it's ultimately up to you, Carolina. Like, you can absolutely go, hey, I'm ready to check, especially if you feel like you're drifting. Like, if you feel like you're drifting, you feel like you've made improvements, or you feel like you've stopped making improvements on what you were working on, it might be worth doing a check-in. It might be worth doing it. But my general thing, I generally point people and I make some progress, feel like you've made some progress, get to a point where you've either not necessarily stagnated, but you've hit an improvement. You've made one or two of the improvements that we tried to do and you've locked it in, or you feel like you're not improving on that thing anymore, even if you feel like you didn't get it yet. I generally say one of those two things, but if you want to just schedule one, that's fine too. I can absolutely tell you where you are. I can do reading once over with notes and understand the key concepts and rules pretty well. I think I'm just so concerned about being top 10% of my class that I work too much. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not important to be top 10% of your class, but sure. PB&J, yep. PB&J is good. Adam says, I have lost quite some weight since my divorce. Less stress in some ways, or more stress. Affects different people differently. There's so many events during law school with drinking, boiled eggs. Yep. It's amazing what divorce does for you. This section goes out every Friday, Saturday. Drink less. Think of your liver. Temporal, can this guy get his review done? Maybe. We'll get back to his review. It's a freebie one, so I'm not too worried about it. You actually feel bad? It's okay. He'll get his review. soldier has a drinking problem depending on the skin. Fair enough. Temporal, every time I get the thought to work out, I think about the change on my diet that I need to do and lose all motivation. Do you have tips to start without quitting? Every time I get the thought to work out, I think about the change to my diet that I need to do, and I lose all motivation. Do you think it's a tip to start? No. So, Thales, definitely don't let the overwhelmingness of your diet, of the fact that you also need to change your diet, take away from working out. Because what'll happen is the more you do work out, it's actually going to have a bit of an appetite suppressing effect, both because you're not hungry while you're working out, and you're generally not hungry for a while after you worked out too. You also do some good things to your metabolism by working out. Like, you're actually going to be less hungry generally if you're working out, which is good. Like, even though I'm saying you can't overcome a terrible diet just by working out, it gets easier to overcome. It gets easier to get off of a terrible diet by working out. So definitely don't let that overwhelm you, and don't take what I said there the wrong way. Don't take that as oh, here's another weight on the scale of, oh, it's too much, it's too overwhelming. And you will see, similar to the Overwatch improving, where it's hey, work on this one thing one at a time. When I tell someone to go work on taking angles or to go work on their engagement timing, I don't expect them to level up from a silver angle taking to GM angle taking in terms of the timing when they do it in one session or in a week or anything like that. They're not going to do that. They're going to have to iterate on this. But you know what? It gets easier to iterate on it. If you go, hey, you can run a mile and you can run a mile in 9 minutes. Let's pretend that you can run a mile in 9 minutes. Well, maybe, maybe what your goal is to run a mile in 6 minutes. That's fine. But don't overwhelm yourself with that right now. That's not what you want to focus on right now. Just go start running a bit. Go start doing this, whatever. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend running. I'm just using it as an example. And just as you do it, it'll get a little easier. And then it'll be, hey, you're running an 8-minute and 30-second mile. And that's an improvement, and that's better, and you'll feel better, and you'll get less winded walking up the stairs, or less winded suddenly changing from walking to walking faster, or a quick, jog and then going back, etc. And you'll see this, and it'll be easier to keep going, to keep doing more of this, and then before you know it, you'll be down to 8 minutes, and it continues. So, my advice would be, the traditional advice to that would be, if it feels too overwhelming, is don't let it be overwhelming from you're thinking about your diet and that's scaring you off type thing. The diet will actually get easier to adjust as you exercise more. But also, the usual advice when it comes to working out is, here's what you do. You sort of forgive yourself and say, it's okay if I don't work out, but I have to at least get changed and maybe get ready to go to the gym. Or I have to get changed, get in the car with my keys and be ready to drive to the gym, and then if I change my mind, I can back out type thing. But there's sort of an initial resistance that most people have to doing an activity, and you have to overcome that initial resistance to keep doing it, to sort of get into doing it, to get off the couch and be oh, I'm doing this whatever, or okay, I'm doing this thing, etc. And oh, it's the hurdle to get over to go do it. But remember, once you start working out, you're going to feel good. But even if you just get most of the way, you promise yourself you're going to change clothes, you're going to do whatever. If you make yourself go do that, you're almost certainly going to go do this. And it's not going to feel like that big a task. Changing your clothes isn't going to feel like some big task. So don't go do that. And once you've done that, it's pretty easy to continue. Okay. Gosh, I just read and my English is scuffed. Why do you need to change your diet to work out? You don't have to. Sorry, from Brazil, it's late. No problem. Eat that gin and cherries while on the elliptical, get a juicer. You feel the effects of a poor diet more when you're trying to be active. You do feel it, but you can still do it. And the more you do that exercise, it's going to be easier to get off that bad diet. Blah's recommending a 2-month juice-only cleanse. diet is not actually fully trash, but mainly soda and not eating healthy foods like salads and stuff as much as I think I should. Well, cutting soda is pretty good. Cutting soda is pretty big and not that hard. Once you've cut it, you'll find it's pretty easy to do. Now, don't so like different people are going to cut it differently. Don't then go replace it with equally bad things made by the same companies but not with their brands on it, so you can't tell. What I would recommend for most people is replace it. If you can replace it with water, fine. If you can replace it with you just go everywhere with like a metal water bottle or something like that, that's fine. And anytime you feel like drinking anything, you just drink that. If that's not an option for you, you need just a little bit to it. What I would recommend is carbonated water. Some people that's not going to be an option for. It can kick up some like acid reflux type stuff. So that might not be an option. But if it's just not enough and you're like, no, there's nothing here, get ever so slightly flavored carbonated water and then wean yourself onto carbonated water. And then if you want from there, you can wean yourself onto regular water because it's cheaper. But that would be one way because again, it's going to be hard to go from drinking soda to not drinking anything, and you don't want your soda to be replaced with something equally bad or only very slightly better. But you don't miss soda once you get rid of it. Like once you've been off soda for a few weeks, a month, it's like you really don't miss it. You can replace the caffeine if the caffeine is what you need with tea or coffee. That's fine, but don't turn into a don't increase the amount of caffeine consumption you're doing either. And if you're doing tea or coffee, you can do what you need to make it drinkable, but don't like make it super super sugary to the point at which, well, now you're drinking, okay, you've put a ton of stuff in there and now you're drinking something soda again. Well, I should do it too. You can regenerate your liver, focus on beets. Soda is liquid candy, basically. You drink thistle tea every morning. No soda. Temporal, this is great advice. Nothing is better for the liver other than a transplant. Please start the review. We'll do the review. I'll do sections again for this. No, life advice with temporal is better than the Overwatch review. Adam's going to report these people for throwing their health. Dave went from 100 kilograms to 75 a year ago, so I can't work out because of joint pain. Only way I could do it is fast. And fast in the week and eat whatever I want in the weekend. Yeah, cheat days can work. Cheat days can work for people. The thing is, again, though, it's the secret of once you start eating better, you don't want to eat the junk, and you get to your cheat day or your cheat days, it sounds like you did, and you don't actually eat that poorly on your cheat day because it just doesn't sound good. Your body sort of starts craving what you're already eating. So once you start to get rid of something, if you actually get over that initial hump, it's gone, and you don't really have the cravings anymore. Not a great way to go about losing weight. Yeah, you'd also don't want to lose weight too rapidly, but most people don't have to worry about that, to be perfectly honest. But I think workout wouldn't be bad. I am absolutely love sports, even though I'm a bit on the fat side, so I always want to try. But the thought of changing my diet radically just cools me off. Don't let it. Don't let it. Go do sports. Sports are a great way. Sports are, for a lot of people, way more engaging. Now, they can be a little high impact, but sports are a lot more engaging than, for some people, than just running or swimming or hiking or biking, whatever. There's a little more aspect to it, and you get to do sports with other people. And because you're doing it with other people, there's a little more of a camaraderie, carry-on type thing. You have more of a drive to continue doing it, go back to it, etc. Oh my god, just do the review. I can't do this. We're tilting at him, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it. Top contenders coach. Adam, don't forget. Swimming is low impact. Swimming is great. I find it on the boring side. I don't find running on the boring side. But yeah, swimming is great. Temporal, I absolutely hate you for this. You're welcome. Okay. Adam, I am the most destroyed person when it comes to relationships, says Thales. And on my paid review, we spent half an hour on advice for a couple, so chill. Uh, Solo impact, they tell old people to do it. Okay, we'll continue with this a bit, and we may circle back and do some more health stuff since that's interesting. But we'll do it after we get through a round of this or get through the review, and then circle back. Okay. So you run away a little bit. Again, you don't really need to drop this health station yet. You're committing to this being your spot when you put your health station here, and I don't know that you need this to be your spot. This spot doesn't have any good cover against this Widowmaker, for example. Your spot might be over here. If you dropped your heal station here, you could fight this Widowmaker, you could fight this Winston, and you could close the angle. You could go like this and shoot at the bubble, and the Widow can't shoot you. You could shoot at the, excuse me, that's not a Widow, that's a Baby Diva. But like, over here would be better. You've committed to this spot. There's no cover available to you where this health pack is. We want our health pack to be dropped somewhere like here, where it then goes like that. That's a little big for it, but you can be here and shoot at the other team, or you can be here and be safe while you're getting healed. You like that for your health station. I don't want you to commit to this spot. This spot sucks. You have no cover. Sheldon says, maybe we'll discuss my sugar addiction when I submit my tour review. Maybe. Okay. Cool. Go high ground. Right back up over here. And just mow them down from over here. You see how you'll have this nice crossfire? You're up here with your visor. You won't need it, but you're up here and you can just melt these people while they're busy fighting your team that's mostly over here. Like, think of this red team that gets to spend all of their attention in this direction, because this is where your entire team is. What if there was a soldier up here shooting them from here? Suddenly they'd be like, ah, he does damage, we don't like it. Who do we look at? Who do we get cover against? Do we get cover against them by ducking here behind payload, but then soldier shoots us? What about over here? Oh, but then soldier shoots us. Okay, I'll stand here to get cover against soldier. Oh, but then they shoot us. Like, it's so much harder for them. So much harder.
Feeling ground.
No, this is less good. She was in a bubble. Yikes. Yikes! You could have turned this so easily from above, and if it started to go even remotely wrong, you could have visored. Like, oh, okay, this isn't good. Huh. Maybe instead of trying to break this bubble, we shoot at the Moira or the Winston. Maybe we do those things. So when she's not aware of you, usually you'd start with Helix. You might be trying to go, hey, I don't want to hurt myself with Helix. Maybe that's what's going on here. But usually you would start with Helix when she's not aware with you, because the Helix is a projectile. It has a travel time. It's also your biggest burst. So you'd sort of like to hit that while she's not going to move, while she's not going to make this hard. Press Q. I hear you, Blah. Healthy Habits is like Overwatch. You don't get the whole set of skill or every you don't get the whole set of skill or every aspect to enjoy it. I think what you're trying to say there, and maybe I just read it wrong, is like you build up a little bit at a time, and yeah, you don't have to get everything right all at once to get better at it. I think that's what you're going for there, and I agree. This must be a saving queue for Overwatch 2 player. Yeah. Okay, are we going to take high ground? Sprint away. Sure, this is fine. We'd have liked to force him to pop his bubble, probably before we used our heal station there, but okay.
Team up for special attack.
I've got you in my sights.
Okay, so we're fighting down mid. Are we going to work our way up left? We're fighting down mid outside of the Orisa barrier and away from cover. That's less good. Then take a break, Jomar. If you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying it, if getting better at it and working on it isn't fun, you take a break. Take 2 weeks off, do other stuff, see if you want to play it on the other side. I know that's a terrible thing for me to say as a streamer who streams Overwatch, because like I could potentially be sending you away and then you wouldn't be watching the content and that would hurt my bottom line. But like, seriously, if you're not enjoying it, take a 2-week break, do other stuff, exercise more, eat better, since those are things that we talked about here. Play a different game, go join a recreational sports league, do whatever you want, and then, you know, come back in 2 weeks, and if you're having fun, fantastic, keep doing it, and you'll have cleared potentially a lot of bad habits, and you'll be fresh and malleable to work on stuff and to actually see a little bit of an improvement spike. Or you come back and you go, this isn't really fun anymore, and you go do some other things, and that's totally fine. It's your life. Okay. Back to our soldier here. So that's scary. I don't know that I want to fight that, but I might want to go over here. I might want to go up here. So Bronze Guy, 1 visor, 1 elimination. Our Diamond 76 could learn a thing or two. That's true. It's true. Again, I don't know that I want you to drop this healing station yet. Like, this healing station is better than the one we talked about on high ground before, because you have the option to be behind cover during it, or you have the option to have an open angle that you can shoot at opponents during, but no one is paying attention to you. D.Va's not shooting at you, Junkrat's not shooting at you, Moira's not shooting at you, Anna's not shooting at you. You're like dropping this preemptively going, well, in case I take damage. It doesn't take very long to drop a heal station if you take damage, especially when it's going to be a heal station that has cover, because you can drop behind cover as you can get behind cover as you're dropping it, and then you're great. Like, okay, cool, it heals you back up, and then you shoot from over here, or you shoot from over here, etc. So, like, save it. Because what if you use this now, you get 0 value out of it, 0, and then from your 0 value out of it, you go, oh, and now while it's on cooldown for 7 seconds while it's down, while it's not doing anything, because it's already been deployed, it's gone because it's timed out, and you have 7 seconds, and in that 7 seconds, you want to drop a different one. And you'd actually get value out of that different one. Well, now you can't, and you didn't get any value out of the first one. You literally haven't gotten any value out of this first one yet. Heal station's gone, and we got 0 value. Maybe there was some tiny, tiny little bit of value that we didn't recognize, of like the Winston chose not to jump at us or something like that, because they're like, oh, that soldier's going to get healed. Or the Anna chose not to take a shot at us because they went, oh, that soldier's going to get healed. I don't want to bother with it. But basically, we got 0 value. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Ability usage has to get more than 0 value. Didn't really track No Name there. I don't mind bad aim. I don't. But I do require aiming. Sure would be nice to, you know, have been able to drop a heal station here, for example. It would have helped heal you up. It would have helped heal your Mercy up. Heal station here would have been pretty good. You're about to get pushed in this position. But you can't. Now, Mercy got you, so it's okay, but she had other things she could have done, like helped out that Hanzo. Ouch. It wasn't 0, he's like 178 or something, now it's 200. Let me check. Oh! You're right. You took a tiny bit of an explosion from a Junkrat nade or something there. Still not really worth. still not really worth. But that's true, it wasn't 0. We got a tiny bit of HP from that. Phil says, yeah, if it isn't fun, just drop it for some time. See if you miss it after some weeks. If you don't, it isn't worth forcing yourself to play. Sure.
Not dead yet.
Left League for 4 months now, and oh, how do I not miss having a bit, not having a bit of fun through every single game? I hear you, Thales.
0-3. Switching sides.
Okay, so there is better heal station deployment we could use, for sure. There is better angle taking that we could take advantage of. We could use our ult at some point. The second point defense there is a particularly egregious example of not taking the angle that would have locked things down, turned that fight. The heal station we saw a few of. We could talk about Helix rockets. We could talk about target selection. We did start there, and there were a few more examples, like the Ana in the bubble we kept shooting at instead of the Moira.
4, 3.
But we'll see what we focus in on as this continues.
Escort the payload.
Okay, so that's a better heal station in some ways. Not only were you missing a little health, people were paying attention to you, and you had cover and offensive options. Now, you didn't really play differently when you didn't have heal station available, but oh well.
Mission ain't over.
What FPS is this person playing on? Pretty sure it's my internet, though. I have no idea what FPS they're playing on. It's choppy for you, too? Let me look. Stream health says I'm green, guys, at 63 to 67 up there, so I'm not seeing any sort of issues on my end from a latency standpoint. Stream got choppy for a second, but it's better now. Okay, thanks, Alark. Thanks, Bunny. Okay. Reloading at 1, fine. I don't need to go back out here. I can walk through here and shoot this monkey in the side or in the back, and he'll be unhappy. That's what we do. You see this? You're here. Boom. You took care of the Orisa. The monkey's here. Sure, we can shoot at the monkey. Oh, that's not there anymore? Okay, well, you can turn and finish off the Mercy if you want, but your team's probably got that under control. So let's sprint our way up here and take care of the monkey, or sprint our way up here and stop their respawns from coming in. That's what we want to do. I don't want to just... No. Why did I bother breaking that? And now I'm having to spend real time reloading, which is time I can't be sprinting. I don't know if you understand heal stations or you don't, because some of them look good, like you've set them up in places where you have cover and non-cover options, and then others look like this. Your heal station goes up here, so you can stand here and shoot at the enemies and get healed by it, or back up a step and have cover against the enemies and get healed by it. That's what we want for our heal station. You dropped this heal station, got healed, what, like 40 to 60 HP? I don't remember exactly what it was. And now you can't use the rest of it while fighting? What? What? No. Yeah, Blah, I saw that too. I would have liked him to go through here, not just because he was missing health, more to get the Winston that was retreating, and then potentially to challenge the McCree. And yes, he would have got the health pack as well while doing that, which would have preserved his heal station cooldown. But this is more egregious. Oh, we don't like high ground. Oh, we really don't like high ground.
Changing position.
Okay. Huh.
Focus my target.
sure.
I don't play by the rules anymore.
Work your way harder left. This is fine. They're paying attention to you, Reinhardt. You can shoot a little bit, but work your way left here to shoot through here, to then shoot from here. You see how that compromises their cover? Their cover that works against your team, like outhouse and whatever this is over here, don't work against you if you're shooting from this direction, if you're shooting from this direction. So that's what we want to be doing. As we're pushing forward, as our team is taking space, we want to deepen our angle up the side. No, I don't want to shoot into the Orisa shield. You have sprint. You have sprint and heal station. Make no mistake. Sprint is to get you off angles, and heal station is to allow you to sustain on these off angles without without a support having to be with you. Don't let the fact that heal station can heal other teammates confuse you over what soldier's role is. And now you didn't take the space, so Junkrat is taking it. Yeah, we're talking about space in the DPS review in bronze. Get over it. Oh, look! You're almost around the Orisa shield. Lewis says, the way that I would describe memories in Overwatch is disappointing. I expect to have fun, as much fun as I had 6 months ago, but I lose more. It's more toxic. I have rare occasion to duo or trio. Blah asks, why do you lose more? And then Blah says it's important to challenge better snipers than you that are outside your maximum effective range. That's in reference to when Soldier was fighting the Ana who had the high ground and a scope and no fall off with Soldier who very much had fall off at that range. Because you suck, Lewis says. I don't use high ground and off angle enough. Okay, but you can work on improving those things if you want to. You have to decide, is working on stuff and getting better at it fun or not? If it's not, that's fine, don't do it. But competitive gaming probably isn't going to be for you in general, if that's true, which is no shame. If competitive gaming is not for you, go do other things. That's totally fine. There's so many video games that are made right now. Steam has such a huge library. We've had decades of making video games at this point. There is stuff to play that is not competitive titles like that that'll be fun, or do something else. But like I said, just take 2 weeks off. Seriously, take 2 weeks off. The true ego duel is to 1v1 Anas from 50 meters away. So what changed the last few seconds? Press Q, press Q. Please, Torb, you don't have to aim at all. Just keep your turret up. It's not Torb, it's Soldier. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think my play changed in the last 6 months. The results changed. I mean, again, if you're not enjoying it, take a break. And then if you don't feel like playing after you come back from your break, don't. You'll have discovered that you didn't miss it. Or if you do, okay, there's something here that you still want, and let's figure out how to make it better. Within limits. We can't make the community better. But you can change your community. You can join communities like this one. You can find a team that you want to play with on a regular basis. You can do less ladder, more other stuff if you want. I'm a little surprised that we're not just visoring. This fight is fine. There's a Junkrat in the air, just visor and eliminate him. He has nowhere to go. And then you'll have things to spend your visor into over here. And it'll be fine. Let's just do that. Let's just do that.
Should have kept your head down.
Helden sterben nicht.
Okay. I guess you don't visor this. You're up too much, but still.
You're covered.
We're 2 minutes into the game and we haven't visored yet. The round. They just poured nano into it. I have visor. Take out their support line. Visor, take out the Valk, take out the Mercy, win. Like, you're going to visor, you're going to work your way left as you're visoring, she's got nowhere to go, you'll take out the Mercy, then you'll easily take out the Ana as long as you're working your way left.
I feel unstoppable. Cease your resistance.
They have Valk, they have Nano, they have Supercharger. Like, we can pour an ult into this. I don't care that we're getting a Limbs.
I've got you in my sights.
Now that the Valk and Supercharger are over, we're visoring. I mean, their respawns are closer, but this was an interesting decision. I think that Orisa just forgot that she had cooldown back. Yeah, 100% just forgot that her barrier was back. Okay. Let's run Arrow into Mercy and Safe Rescue. Well, finally, they got there eventually. But in general, we do want to think, like, Valk should sort of be a trigger in our head of, oh, wait, should I visor? If someone Valks, you can do a really good job of either deleting them or denying them value in some ways by using your own visor. Your ult isn't particularly good, but Mercy's ult is pretty good. It's not like an absolute top tier ult, but it's pretty good. It's better than your ult. So if you can go, oh, she visored, let me just instantly trade out, or oh, she Valked, let me just instantly trade that out for visor. That's a win. That's a win. Now, we still wouldn't really do it into 6v3 situations most of the time, but there was plenty of reason for you to visor that time. Plenty of reason. So anytime you see Valk, you should think, wait, should I visor this? And you should almost already be reaching for and pressing the Q button. That was a terrible arrow, but we're not trying it again.
Your hesitation is your weakness.
Free limb on Skybox Mercy. Yep. I mean, he'd get the elimination on Skybox Mercy even if he wasn't to the high ground to the left on first there. I hear you, Lewis. I do. Lewis. So, here you are. The angle of your engage is good. The timing, unfortunately, is not. If they were actively fighting your team, who is fighting them, who is trying to push the cart, and they were trying to stop them, this would be a good engage. Unfortunately, your tanks decided to follow you, so that actually makes you pushing here a little bit worse, because now you're actually leading the charge. You don't really want to be leading the charge. You want the focus to be on your team, and then you do some nice flank work. This still isn't terrible, but that's why this isn't successful when you might have expected it to be. And heal station isn't going to work through the nade. Oh, you guys are enjoying Titanfall 2 campaign? Cool, cool. How do you track improvement well? How do you track improvement well? I mean, you could make a list of the individual things that you're working on one at a time. So you're working on those things one at a time. Like, if you are making yourself better without coaching, you'd almost have to make a list, because when you're doing your own VOD reviews, you're going to find things to potentially improve on, and they're going to be more than you can work on. So you're going to go, okay, I'm going to work on this one and this one. And like, as you get better at these things, don't necessarily delete them, but like do a line through them or put an asterisk next to them saying you got it, etc. And you're absolutely going to come back on this thing and improve on it more in the future, but like then you later get to look at your list and be like, these are all things that I've improved on. And you might feel like, wait, but Temporal, that doesn't work, because what if I regress on some of these things? Yeah, that can be a problem. But if you're sort of trying to track what you've improved on, this would sort of be how. And if you're not making the list because you have someone like me doing reviews for you as part of your review diet, then you still have your list, either because I sent it to you in text format or because you have it from the video when you went and wrote it down on your notepad or whatever, and you can put that line through it, put that asterisk by it, whatever, for when you feel you've leveled it up, etc., and are moving on to the next thing. And if you haven't done any of that, that's fine, but just be like, okay, well, I can think, wait, I know that the last 4 things that I worked to improve on, and I feel like for 2 of those I really got good improvement, and 1 of those I got okay improvement, and I couldn't really figure out the 4th. Okay, well, there you go. Now you know that you've improved on some things. Hate it when I try to flank his DPS and my tanks follow me like lonely puppies. I ripped up my old list to just have play 1K to 1.5 play K better, then you can do what you want. So far it's working. Well, that will work, but that's not really a diet for improvement. That's a diet for smurfing.
Group up at my position.
This old dog's learned a few tricks.
Enemy contact. Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Low ground push. Low ground push down main. No thank you. Angle right, angle right. So, like, I hate this low ground push. I hate it. I would much prefer that you either went up here, where you at least have high ground, or that you did what you did before and worked your way up over here and shot in from over here. Or, oh, look, let me shoot Orisa in the back a bit, make her get concerned about me, or take her out, and then leave. Wait a second, go back in and finish her off. Or if I don't finish her off, it changes the direction that she deploys her heal, or her shield, or it forces fortify, that sort of thing.
My ultimate is duplicating Winston.
Cool.
Tactical necessity.
No! Seal Station is so much better. Right here. You can still stand here and get healed by it, but you can also stand here and fight once you've been healed up and still be getting healed by it if you take more damage.
I've got you in my sights. I've got you in my sights.
So there's no enemies on your screen, and you're tac visoring. No thank you. Oh, we got a Valkyrie Mercy, so it's not a loss. Not a complete loss of that visor anyway. It's so awesome, the brave and valiant soldier bravely ran away instead of trying to shoot the tire and protect his mercy. Yeah, yeah.
The payload's moving. Group up here.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool. Oh, we're gonna push up main on low ground again. High ground. He didn't know you were here. Okay. Still didn't know you were there. That's gonna be tough. Run. Yep.
Heroes
You
never
can get the mega, and now you win.
Much better.
You actually wanted to force that sprint earlier because there's nothing he can do. He messed up. He doesn't have flash anymore. So the instant that he starts to go away like this, you sprint. He can't catch you with flash for forcing the corner round on him. You have a huge health lead on him. You sprint because you know that, like, if he gets to here, he's gone effectively. So you sprint. Even if he faked you out and this was a cover and reopen, you can afford to trade him getting another shot on you while you're sprinting and still win. You've got your health station that you'll be running through. You then destroy his ability to have cover against you. Like, you want to force this fight. You have too much of a lead not to.
Much better.
And you reloaded instead of sprinting.
Payload is in my charge. Let us move it.
Da ist
I mean, he's got flashback, man. You gotta track the cooldown. This wasn't an okay play anymore.
Ability increased.
Thanks. No problem, Lexa.
Thanks.
Enemy contact.
It's
So you did this, and he's pushing up again.
Enemy contact.
You can do it again. Like, you just needed to leave. Like, you don't want... If he ducks in here, you're like, oh, can I run further away? Maybe have the health station, etc. Like, you don't want the close range fight with him.
Dein Schutzengel
That
ist
high
da.
noon he did is the equivalent of the visor that you could have done from here on defense.
no rest for the
This
wicked.
guy's about to go to the forums and complain about McCree. I mean, if you let him flashbang you and live, and then don't track the cooldown and let him flashbang you again, yeah.
Make every second count. Crush their defenses.
You can work your way up. You can quietly do it with crouch walking, but you can work your way up. Okay. But now your Echo's got an elimination, you're not even close to being in position. Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it! What are you doing? You don't need to run to cart, you're fine. There's 10 seconds left. There's a Junkrat right there. You know where the Junkrat is? You know where the tire's coming from? At least delete the Junkrat. Even if the tire doesn't take a path you can deal with, at least delete the Junkrat. You've got 8 seconds left. That's an eternity to get to point. Moira's volunteered for the job. She's got it. That tire wouldn't have got her because it probably took this path. I mean, it's possible it actually took this path and you wouldn't have done anything about it, but you were here. You could have been like, delete Junkrat. Or if the other people got in the way, do, you know, a good 300-400 damage to the people that get in the way. Oh, the tire's there? Let me flick down and shoot at the tire that's going to her. And even if you don't destroy it, that's puts pressure on him to, even if you don't actually get the elimination on the tire, that's not quite the right word, but we'll go with it. Even if you don't actually destroy the tire, that the tire's taking damage, that the tire's getting lower health, puts pressure on Junkrat to blow it up potentially when he hasn't seen Fade Forced yet, when he hasn't, you know, when he's not quite sure that it's in range, that sort of thing, because he's afraid he's going to lose it to you because you are doing damage to it, even if you haven't 100 to 0'd it yet. A tired run for cover. Do you think it's reasonable to expect bronze or silvers to accurately track cooldowns? We don't want them to stay bronze or silver. And they don't have to track every cooldown perfectly accurately, but they need to have a general sense of the most important cooldowns. Yeah, it is a cooldown game, guys. Like, it is a game where tracking cooldowns is an important skill. I'm generally pretty easy on people not doing ult tracking in lower ranks, but yeah, I still do expect tracking cooldowns. You're just not going to do well in this game if you're not tracking cooldowns, even on a micro standpoint. And again, you don't have to track every cooldown for every hero, but for a hero you're actively in a duel with, yeah, you've got to track their cooldown. For big important cooldowns like Roadhog Hook, yeah, you got to track it. Maywall, sure. Winston Bubble, yeah, that's a good one. I'm not going to require Winston Bubble immediately. That probably is a lower tier of importance for the average player to track. But yeah, these things matter. CCs and escapes, even if you don't know the exact seconds, just a general idea, right?
Back in my day, we'd have this payload delivered already.
Blue Maze are usually really on Team Red with their walls. Well, as a bronze, some cooldown usage feels hard to punish or avoid, like Hog Hook and Flash and McCree, because of the time needed to confirm an elimination. The cooldown is back. Sure, but you can disrespect it while it's gone, and then because your aim isn't good enough to finish them fast enough, or the coordination isn't there to finish them fast enough, you can ease back out. Like against the McCree up here, he got flashed twice by this McCree, and it's like, okay, well, if you live through getting flashed, or if you survive the flash, whatever, and you deal with it, okay, you fight him and you get a lead and you play aggressive against him because he doesn't have the flash and you do have a helix and you wouldn't mind hitting that point blank. But then when he ducks behind cover, wait, he's close to having his cooldown back, so let me go back and now play more passive. We can get through multiple flashes in the same life. We can adjust our playstyle multiple times. But I understand what you're saying. And that's one of those things that it is in some ways easier at higher levels because it's more consistent. We talked about this in the debate stream last night, where you can learn faster when things are more consistent, when you more consistently get punished for a bad play or more consistently get rewarded for a good play. And consistency is lacking in general in Overwatch because it's such a highly interactive, so many variable 6v6 team game. So punishes and rewards are inconsistent, which makes it harder to learn, even more so in lower ranks, but they're still there. They're still there, and you can still adjust. You can still go, okay, I can track this cooldown in a general sense. I can be close to him when he doesn't have it, get further away when he does. I can open my corners wider to try to finish off the hog when he doesn't have hook. Oh, I didn't finish him off before he got hook back. Now I'm going to play really tight on the corner again, even if I didn't finish him off. And maybe that means he gets to recover whatever, but I still was able to put more pressure on them. And one of these days it's going to work out where he's going to get eliminated by the random combination of spam, hopefully before he finds a hook. It's like Kree from Val's video.
We all got you in my sights.
Okay, you didn't have the visor this time.
Back in my day, we had this payload delivered.
Cease your resistance.
We all got it coming. I've got you in my sights.
Okay. Your most important change, so we're going to give you a few things to work on. Your most important change to implement will be more consistently taking off angles and high ground. You were trying some for the high ground over here. I like that. I hated this. I hated this low ground push. I hated some of this low ground push shenanigans. I hated you trying to return to the fight like this on defense as opposed to coming up over here. So I hated you trying to defend right here, standing right here, not with cover, also not behind your Orisa shield. And to be clear, like this would have been better. This would have been better. I hated that you did this. Instead of going up over here, there are stairs, and shooting them from here, hopping across, shooting them from here, that sort of thing. Like that you're doing some of, but doing that more consistently will be the most impactful change to upgrading your gameplay that we're going to go over here. So work on that. Work on doing that more consistently. Push the off angles, push up the off angles, push up, again, we did this on first as well, push up the off angles. When you take an off angle like this, it compromises the enemy's cover. Remember that Orisa shield that they had? That works against your team pushing from that direction, doesn't work against you over here. Doesn't work against you over here. That outhouse works against your team pushing from this direction, doesn't work against you visoring from over here. So that's what we want to do. We want to push these angles. We deepen our angles as our team starts to win the fight. But for now, just more consistently take your angles. It'll work well for you. If you're finding, oh, wait, I took an angle and my Orisa and my Reinhardt are right behind me, congratulations, it's not an angle anymore. It's the main push. So you better take a new angle. But take your angles. That's going to work well. That's going to be the most impactful thing. More consistently do that. Angles are like magic for winning Overwatch. The team with more and bigger angles tends to win. That's going to be the first thing. Second thing I'm going to give you is going to be the easiest change to make. It's not the most impactful of them, but it's going to be the easiest thing to make. And that is going to be your heal stations. You should drop them when either you've already lost health or people are actually paying attention to you. They're trying to shoot at you. Not, well, I just feel like I should shoot from here, so I'm going to drop my heal station. Not, I'm missing 12 health, so I'm going to drop my heal station. Those aren't what we use our heal station for. We use our heal station when we found a spot that we like and enemies are putting some level of pressure on us. Even if we're full health when we drop the heal station, they're putting some level of pressure on us in the form of they're looking at us, they're shooting at us and missing, whatever. There's a little bit of an exception to this for your on and off angle and you pre-drop a heal station before you visor sometimes because you know that the visor will force a bunch of people's eyes to you. It will force pressure onto you and you're saving yourself visor time by dropping the heal station early, but that's a little bit of an exception. So that's going to be the second thing. It's less important than more consistently than you are taking those angles and taking those high grounds. And the third thing is going to be press Q. Press Q to win. When you see a Valk, you should think about pressing Q. It's not 100% automatic, but you should strongly consider pressing Q, and you should, in general, on some of these angles that we're talking about, more consistently think about pressing Q. You are holding your ultimate too long in these situations, and it's not going to work. You want to use your ult, preferably early in a fight. That's fine with you. Soldier actually, Soldier has one of those ults that you can get away with using a bit later in a fight. It's kind of like Earth Shatter. You really do benefit from the defenses being worn down a little bit, a little less Matrix in play, barriers being a little weaker, things like that. So it does not have to be the first ult on the board. And if you use it in like a 6v5 type situation where you're already winning, that's not going to bother me. If you use it in a 4v4 situation, that's totally fine. So like, sure, we like to use it. We like to use it before we've totally won a team fight, and we don't want to use it when we're totally getting crushed in a team fight, but you can be a little bit loose in how you use it in terms of, oh, I think I can turn this fight that we're, a little behind on resources in, but we haven't lost, or I think we're winning, but I'm going to go ahead and visor anyways. Those are fine for your visor, but do them from angles. Angles, angles, angles. Angles are good. We like angles. Use your visor more often. So I want you to work through these three things. I want you to work on them one at a time. One at a time. One at a time with 5 to 15% of your brain power. That's what I want you to do. I don't want you to try to implement all three of these at once. I want you to work on them one at a time. Try to see some improvement. Try to be like, I'm working on this. I'm focused on this with 5 to 15% of my brain power, not 50% of your brain power, not 40% of your brain power, not 1% of your brain power, not, oh, I forgot what I was working on 2 games in, not I forgot what I was working on 6 games in, but like 5 to 15% of your brain power. So it should be there. You should be thinking about it some, but no, it's not taking over all of that brain power that you're using for your aim, for thinking about how you're going to win the next team fight, for thinking about that. It's in there, you're thinking about it, but it's not overwhelming you. That's what I want you to do. And you might have to do this for 5 games, you might have to do this for 20 games, you might have to do this for 50 games. Depends on how quickly you can build this into your autopilot. Sort of make this thing, this more taking of angles and high ground, this using your visor more often and not just forgetting about it for, I don't want to say half the match, that's an exaggeration, but like 15% of the match. And these healing station placements that, aren't just, oh, I'm pre-placing because I think they should be shooting at me, but they're not. Work through these things one at a time. That's going to help you out. Okay. If you or anyone else has questions, you can throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. And yeah, we can get, or if you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what the rates look like for coaching, see if we have any special events going on. You could become a watcher and then get pings when we're going to cover things. That's one of the ways where you can also bug me and be like, no, Temporal, cover more health stuff. Tell us more about making peanut butters and jellies and hard-boiled eggs and keeping them in the fridge. Or, no, we want to know more about the what's going on in terms of real estate investment, or we want to know more about what it's going to take in terms of this news that came out about this lawsuit surrounding Blizzard, or we want to know more about, like, you guys get to, bother me about whatever and prod me to make videos, etc. And, we have a cool community. Or, I guess I could just say, hey, we've got memes. We have a memes channel. And if we have a memes channel isn't enough reason to join a Discord, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, let's catch up on chat here. Hey, Maxtron Gamer, I'm doing well. What about you? Okay. We talked about how to track improvement well. Hate when you flank as DPS and people follow you. Tire, run for cover. I mostly just go feeling. I'm diamond. Short term, yes. No, unless they start making. We're talking about McCree tracking flashbang. Okay, sorry, it took me a second to figure out where we were, guys. Wow, Temporal actually reviewing someone, not spamming about fitness. Ha! As usual. Oh, lol. Okay. Oh, looks like the stream is having a little hiccup there. Apologies. Should come back. He did a PSA, sure. He made sure people used a metal water bottle and not a plastic one. He cares about the environment. He's practically a saint. Do them all at once. Temporal, I will crush you. That's nice, Adam. That's nice. He's an artist. 3, 1 at a time. Yeah, he's an artist. Thank you, Elark. No, blah, no. How to ult your ult for 5 minutes when you could have gotten 4 ults at that time? Classic low elo? Sure. 27 minutes? No, we're well over 27 minutes. Okay, yeah. Do we need to go to an hour and 27 minutes? Is that what you're saying, Blah? Finance soon, please. Okay. Temporal, do you think there's going to be a huge market correction soon? I wouldn't count on it, guys. Like, I wouldn't necessarily count on it. I wouldn't plan for that to be the case. I wouldn't go sit heavily in cash right now because it's going to. There's enough concern about one right now that I wouldn't recommend going high on margin right now either. At least I'm not comfortable going on it. I'm not making recommendations. Making recommendations on investments is not a thing that I do. You should all make your own decisions on investments and do research on investments, and investing involves risk. But I think there's the possibility of it, Blah, and I don't think that's a 0 or 1 or 3% chance event. I think that's more like, yes, that is absolutely something real that could happen, but I don't put the odds of a massive one, and by a massive one, I would mean, like, yes, we are looking at bigger than 40%. I don't put the odds of that over 50% likely. If we're talking correction, like, oh, it's an 8, it's a 10% type thing, yeah, sure. But that's not quite that. Like, that matters, yes, but that's not the life changing. That's not the thing people are planning around. Not everyone, but people who understand money mostly understand that you can't stay out to avoid those because, again, I mean, look how much the market has gone up in the last year. Stocks, mutual hedge, investment, REITs, bonds, you know the jazz. Okay, YS. I think there's an inflation issue that may amplify, like when gas prices went up in the 70s, the chip and ocean freight issue is getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, I think we might have there's real, more serious issues, tackling of inflation. People are less happy with it now than they were ever before. I think there is the world is prepared for something to happen. I think there is a general sense of that, but that doesn't mean that it will. Or the world might be prepared for something to happen and something different is going to happen and their eye is going to get taken off it, etc. The world is prepared for something to happen, be it in the finance sector, be it in the nations, large nations and what they're going to do, be it the South China Sea, be it a Taiwan type event, be it again a big market crash type event, be it something. The world is prepped for something to happen in that sense, and I think, and I don't mean like everyone's ready, but like how do I want to put this? People are uneasy. People are somewhat uneasy, and I think that's understandable. They've been having to deal with a pandemic, endemic now really type situation for a while. They saw weird things happen with the markets that don't make sense to the average person, or people that they do make sense to are going, that's quackery, that doesn't make any sense, etc. Or they're going, okay, well, what's the solution here long term? So we'll see. I don't really have the answer there, Blah, and I think I can have my guesses, and I sort of gave you my guess in terms of, I would say something is probably on the horizon, but I don't know that it's going to be the massive correction. Yeah. Adam says, I hate this video. I've hated it since you ranted about fitness for 30 minutes. For once in my life, I am being 100% honest. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, Adam. Why do you hate fitness? Good health is important. I don't know. Temporal could have ended that conversation a few hours before he did. I mean, the conversation was less than 30 minutes, Adam. So I couldn't have ended it hours before I did. I could have ended it faster. Sure. Um, I don't know why you are being 100% honest about hating it, but I'm sorry you feel that way. I think other people found it useful though. Okay. YS says agree with Lewis that there is an inflation issue. I think most people do. I think most people I think most people who are sort of aware of how it works do. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be addressed. And the reason that it doesn't mean that it's going to be addressed is because when a politician gets elected to office, there's a perfectly reasonable monetary theory with not perfectly reasonable, but considered perfectly reasonable monetary theory that has plenty of scholarship and plenty of scholarship behind it and plenty of academic support behind it that says you can do this. And the politicians who like the easy route, who don't like long-term investments, who like, hey, I want to be popular now, are always going to pick that if it's something that they can responsibly and reasonably do. Like, why would they not? Right? So, like, it's going to be really hard to steer away from that one. It's going to be really hard to be like, no, stop doing that when there's enough support and this and either side, because there's basically a two political side system in the US, can point at and use this when they're in power. Now, the party that's not in power, traditionally this is the Republicans, might complain about while they're not in power about, hey, this doesn't make sense, etc. But then ultimately, when either party's in power, they tend to go, this is a reasonable thing. There's lots of academia behind this. This is accepted economics. This is how we should operate. We're going to do it. And they don't particularly, and they're not going to have that stance when they're there, because that's how being elected works. You like the short-term payoff. You don't like the, okay, well, through my administration, through my time in Congress, we need to be tighter, et cetera, even though people might think, wait, this doesn't make sense when you dig. I mean, this doesn't make sense to people who haven't studied economics, and this also to some people isn't going to make sense once they've studied enough economics to go, wait a second. But there's definitely mixed opinions on that. You will find economists who can absolutely argue in favor of this, and if you guys were interested in economists who could argue in favor of this and ones who could argue against this well, or maybe not economists. I mean, if you were looking for info on people who support this well, people who don't support this well, to go from either side, we could certainly do that. We could certainly point those out. Lamau, I got him. Okay, you got me there, Adam. Temporal feels bad. I won. Legit RC will now take his channel. That's not how it works. I was worried about you there for a minute, Adam. I was worried about you. You were being 100% honest after all. Temporal enjoys making non-healthy suffer? No, but I do enjoy giving them the tools to... I mean, I do enjoy helping people get better at things besides Overwatch, guys. That's why I'm willing to cover all these topics that are not just about Overwatch, that are in some ways more impactful in people's life. Health, finance, dating, etc. I got him. Temporal needs to do a juicing video. Temporal feels bad. Maybe Llama will take the channel? I don't think so. I don't think so. I didn't like it either, says Val. If you make a full fitness video, it would be better so we can refer to it. I still insist Temporal show us the proper form to exercise in. I mean, we might do a proper one, but generally, before we do a full... Like, maybe. Maybe I'll do that. I could do a full video on that, just like I could do a full video on some of this stuff. It's a little, I don't know, I'm a little hesitant to do full videos on some of this stuff without requests. Sometimes I do and you guys like it, and if I keep them sparse enough, that's probably okay. Maybe I'll do more full video type stuff on this, but I mean, this is sort of streamland at this point. We're going to rotate into topics like this. I'll think more on that, Val. So focused on the short term. Hey, Temporal, wouldn't it be great if we had a permanent head of state? Aha, I see where you're going here, Adam. Whose interests were directly tied to the health of the nation. Aha, tell me more about this, Adam. Llama can point out that it's no one's job to break the monkey bubble, so it's okay to go around it. I see. I would like... I'm going to believe that says you to dedicate a stream on inflation if you feel that there's more to comment on that, and you want to do something else than Overwatch on your stream. I mean, we do things other than Overwatch on the stream, but yeah. I don't know how much deeper I'd want to go on that. Like, we can talk about it some. If it really takes off as a thing that people are interested in, I can certainly get into it. I don't know how much deeper than I went there I'd really want to go with people on it, though, because you get into speculation territory. You get into not so much, oh, you need a degree in economics to understand this, or you need to have spent hours studying economics to understand this, but you sort of need to have spent enough time to disable some of the arguments. It's one of those things where it's like, yes, this is fine. No, you just don't understand because you don't blah, blah, blah. And it's like, your argument is complicated and messy and stupid, and like, okay, anyway, tangent. But you know what? Maybe someone can convince me otherwise. It's certainly possible. Okay. YS says, you print money and make it rain to make it seem like your administration is doing a whole lot. Meanwhile, millions go to... I don't know how much I want to get into that. Yeah. I mean, that's not quite right, YS, but yeah. Life coach greater than Overwatch coach? Sure, but ultimately people are not going to go looking for a life coach. They're going to go looking for Overwatch coaching, and we'll sneak it in here, guys. We'll make us all better people. Temporal can do an MMA diet plan? Okay. When you lost 45 pounds, it was sardines and more sardines and lots of fruit and raw veg, but so much sardines. Yuck is right. Aren't sardines tons of salt? No wonder you're messed up if you eat sardines. Pro Coach teaches you pre-queue exercise to win more games and get more fit. Think of search term power. Okay. The salt is terrible. Okay. Think we're going to go ahead and end it there. Again, if you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit. And I will see you in the next